Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, and welcome to Unified Communications as a Service as a Business Strategy. Featured here today is our partner Mitel. Here at LambTech, we partner with some of the best, and Mitel will be presenting today. But first, let's just get a couple things taken care of and a little housekeeping. So we've muted everybody so we don't have any background noise. There is a chat window. If you do have a question, we encourage you to use that chat window. As the moderator, I'll pose the question to our presenters in between slides, or I'll hold it to an area where it might be more relevant. Please interact us if a poll is posted, which today we will not have any polls. So we will move on through this one. And contact information will be provided at the end of this webinar so you can follow up with the appropriate people to answer any questions that were not provided today, or something that might be more in depth than you already or may need additional information on. And we will also follow up with a link to the recording so you can review it again to help you or your team review it and be able to maybe catch an item that you didn't see in the past. So our hosts are LambTech this morning, and Courtney, welcome, and thanks for sponsoring this webinar this morning, and I will turn it over to you for discussion.
Thank you, Pete. Like Pete said, my name is Courtney Hicks. I'm the marketing coordinator for LambTech. We welcome you and thank you for your time on today's webinar. To give you a little history and information about LambTech, we were founded by Robert Lamb in 1999 in Sedalia. Robert still serves as our owner today. We provide managed services for businesses and organizations, with our core coverage area being between Kansas City to Columbia, and Brunswick to Springfield. We do serve several other states and regions as well. LambTech aligns IT solutions with your growth initiatives. Our goal is to take care of your technology so you can focus on your day-to-day business and stop expanding your problems. We offer managed services to maintain your security, help desk support, consulting, and data recovery and backup services. One other note before I introduce our speakers: for those of you joining us today that are current clients of LambTech, we appreciate your partnership. If you have questions on what you learned today and how it works with your specific agreement, feel free to reach out to our team after the webinar is complete. Some of you may have joined us for our webinars in the past, and we appreciate your interest in learning more to improve and enhance your business strategy. Today's topic focuses on unified communication, and with that, I would like to introduce Territory Account Manager Jeff Potter with Mitel.
Good morning. Thanks everyone for your time today. I appreciate everyone taking the time to meet with us today. And I believe my screen is sharing now. So unless there are some participants who can't see it, please let us know. Otherwise, I will start into our presentation for today.
Okay, Jeff, you need to push the screen, show your screen button on the GoToWebinar.
I can see it, Pete.
Can you? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
All righty. So thank you again, and thanks for taking the time to meet with us this morning. And thank you very much to LambTech. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and your customer base. So when we're talking about unified communication as a strategy, stand by just a minute. I'm having a little bit of a technical issue. All right, should be fixed here. Sorry about that. All right, so what I wanted to do was talk to you a little bit about Mitel and our organization and tell you who we are for those of you who aren't familiar with us. We are a 45-year-old organization with 70+ million customers. That's not phones, that's how many disparate organizations use the Mitel system and have over the years. We are a market leader. We have stayed relevant over the 45 years in unified communication, starting all the way back to the days of old PBXs and TDM. So we've been doing this for quite a while. And the key difference in us is this is all we do and all we've ever done. We don't get into a lot of other technologies. We provide industry-leading bulletproof unified communication solutions for our customers. And even though we're a 45-year-old company, we are still very relevant in the marketplace. As you see here from this Synergy Group report from a few months ago, we are right there neck and neck with one of our competitors, but we are considered a leader in unified communication as a service.
Hey, Jeff.
Now, if you're not, yes,
Jeff,
sir.
Right now, all we can see is your GoToWebinar. If you have a slide deck, can you pull that onto that screen?
Okay, I apologize.
There we go. Perfect.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we can, sir. Thank you.
Hey, my apologies.
No problem.
I had a little monitor issue. Anyway, and as we all know, that's technology. It's not perfect. But being a market leader, we're very proud of that, and especially over the 45 years. And what Mitel has done is stayed relevant by making the right acquisitions, making the right business moves. Not all of them perfect, but making the right moves for our customer to stay relevant and to stay as a leader. And that's one of the things we're going to show you today with the Connect product and the cloud solution. Another way you can remain a leader is by having the organizations who grade you, scale you, your watchdogs, if you will. And for those of you in technology, you're probably familiar with the Gartner Group. That's what the Gartner Group does. They're kind of our watchdog. They're the ones that keep us honest and then grade technology manufacturers like Mitel and others in various areas of technology. And if you're going to be in unified communication, Gartner has identified 5 what they call magic quadrants that you should be rated in. And these are the 5 that are there. There's only one manufacturer that's in all 5, and that's Mitel. We are not necessarily the leader. We're not necessarily up and to the right in all of them, but we are there and relevant and a key player and contributor in all of these areas. So if you're looking at that type of organization to partner with along with LambTech, I would say we're right there as a leader because we're the only ones that can say that we're in all these quadrants. So let's talk a little bit about the relevance of this for you as organization. As you know, workplace demands have had a lot of changes. There's multiple devices we use now. There's a lot of different things we use to get to the information we need for work with PDAs and other things. That's changed quite a bit. And if you don't think we're dependent on some of these different devices, think about the next time you're sitting in front of your computer and your email's up and you're actually answering an email on your smartphone. I'm very guilty of that. A lot of us are, but we've become very dependent on these tools, these things that we like, that we're comfortable with. So as workplace demands have changed, tools have changed and efficiencies have changed. There are a lot of changes in the workplace. Work is no longer a place we go, it's a thing we do. And we do it at odd times of the day, at different times of the day with different devices, whether it's a PC like this, or whether it's a handheld device, or whether you're logging in over the web, or no matter what that device is. And maybe even over some personal time in the evening or vacation. We all seem to get, depending on what our jobs are, tied into our work at different times. And as you see, the workplace demands are changing. Video is becoming a lot more relevant. Being able to use mobile devices, as I've talked about and we all know, is just paramount. You have to be able to use those devices. And not only use them, but use them effectively. Be able to get to all the applications when you want and how you want to do them. That's a real key change in our industry. So unified communications, what is that? What does that mean? For a long time, people thought if I get voicemail in my email, that's my unified communication. And for a long time, that was it. But our friends at Gartner appear again, and they've identified that these are the 16 things that organizations and individuals define as unified communication. And when you look at these, the interesting thing is we all use these differently. So not only do organizations have to decide how am I going to deliver these different tools for unified communication, but how Jeff Potter wants to use video or web conferencing may be very different from how Courtney or somebody else wants to use them. So, and a lot of it is also depending on whether you're a little further in your career. I've been doing this a long time, so some of these tools I'm not probably going to use because I'm a little more set in my ways, whereas some of the younger millennials out there might use some of those and be more effective with using those different tools. So you've got to be able to deliver to those personas as well. And it's very challenging, as many of you may know. So what's changing? It's really the evolutionary of this technology and trying to deliver a consistent set of services that people will actually use on any device at any work location. And it's really a phenomenon that we call now personal unified communications. So we want to be able to deliver it transparently so the user can use it on whatever device and get to that information, not caring about what the back end is. It has to be mobile. And we no longer have to do integration of points of systems and data. So we just need to get to the data. We don't have to worry about all the integration in the background. Video is very important. It's more efficient now for organizations because we're spread out, we're disparate, or in my case, I work from home. I am home office. So being able to communicate and be a part of organizational meetings, which the territory I report to is all over the south central part of the US, we will do video meetings where the guy in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, everywhere, we can all be on a video conference instead of flying into an area, taking time out of market and that kind of expense, so we can save costs for the business and be more productive. And the back-end platform where we're delivering the services from must be unified. So any tool, any place, anytime, folks can reach those. So I'll pause for just a second, see if there's any questions. I haven't seen any come in so far. So we're still good to proceed?
I think so.
Great. I will keep going. The other thing is, what does personal unified communication mean to the IT leaders? There's some of you out there, the folks who have to manage these applications. There's a lot of plate spinning. You don't want them to fall and break. So how do you manage that? How do you make that happen? We've talked about the end users. Let's talk about kind of how we deliver this now. And again, it goes back to the tools, right? We have to give people the tools they want to use. An analogy I use a lot that some people can resonate to might be a seamstress, and you might have a right-handed seamstress, right? And that person who is doing that work, if they're right-handed and you hand them a pair of left-handed scissors, they may get the pattern cut out, they may get it done, they may get it sewed, but they're going to have to adjust it. It may take them longer because they weren't as accurate with the cutting out of the pattern. So they're going to get it done, but the production time is going to slide. You may not have a happy worker, and among other things. So at the end of the day, it's about handing out the right tools and giving folks tools, or that hammer, if you will, as an analogy, that feels good in their hands. We have traditionally looked at this from just an on-site perspective, being able to deliver collaboration, contact center, all those features there to the users. But really, folks are really more looking now to the cloud. As we know with AWS, Amazon Web Services, and Google, and a lot of these other cloud-based services that are coming into business now. It's a challenge for us as Mitel. It's a challenge for LambTech as our partner. As you as organizations adopt those, how do you do that and you're still productive? You don't lose any features. You don't lose any security. You're able to still deliver all those applications, but be able to do it through a hosted or a cloud-based service. And the features shouldn't vary. You should be able to deliver the same types of features with the same quality on either platform and, more importantly, on cloud today. And that's really where the key is. How are organizations doing that? How are they going to deliver a full, rich, unified communication solution like what we're used to traditionally out of an on-site, but be able to do that with more of the business efficiencies in cloud? Well, we can do that today with the Mitel product, the Mitel Connect. We can deliver it over on-site, but we do predominantly deliver it now over cloud. And we do that also in a hybrid format to where we can have cloud and on-site tie to one another. So if you are a traditional Mitel customer, we're still going to tie you into the cloud, so no worries there. So what does our environment look like? So this is kind of a simplistic form, but we can support T1s, Ethernet, private MPLS. We do have to have, obviously, a last mile in, and we can run either what we call over the top on the customer provided, or we can provide that as part of your monthly spend, as part of your experience with us. Or you can just do a straight BYOB if you don't want any type of a managed piece of it that we're involved in, where you manage it all yourself. But what we do is we bring that in, and as you see here, we're able to bring it in with multiple carriers here. So we've got redundant paths in, and then we have a path out to you as the customer, either to your site, to a local area network, or even if you want to for if you're home office like I am. But we can come in off of either your provided or our provided voice circuit here. And you'll probably keep an internet circuit in place, so we'll build a redundant tunnel for some failover. So if Bobby Backhoe cuts this here, we've still got a failover path back to our data centers. Our data centers are very redundant. They're level 3+. And what that means is level 4 is government grade, and they have armed guards. We just don't have armed guards, but we're very secure. We have multiple copies on virtual switches, so we've got multiple layers of redundancy within that data center. So no worries about staying up and staying consistent. Even during upgrades and changeovers and things, we can move over to one copy and still run, upgrade everything, and cascade back to that other instance or copy, if you will. We also support you with outstanding help. And how we do that is we do that with the help button on the phone. And that help button on the phone enables you to press that button, which is right here on the lower part of the phone, but it allows anybody. So an administrator who will have administrative capabilities into the portal, they'll have that capability, and the administrator will be able to do moves, adds, and changes, write reports, do everything they can do on a system today. But if you don't want to do that as a built-in cost, they can just hit the help button, and that can be done for them. The nice thing for organizations is, as we all know, we're not getting either budget increases or greater budgets that we did before, so we all have to do more with less, so the end users can use this. So from a support perspective, IT can get out of some of the phone support, or all if they want. Password resets. How do I do a transfer? How do I do a conference? Every end user has this capability too, so they can hit the help button and go to TAC to get help. We also have a very extensive team post-sales that will support you. It's a team of about, of an account manager, or it could be dedicated depending on the size of your enterprise. That's somebody outside of LambTech, outside of Jeff Potter, if you will, that will support you. And that team will help with moves, adds, and changes, billing. So you've got a very extensive team that will help quarterback you once you become a customer. So it really is, it's not white glove service, but it's pretty close. All right. So I'll go into the tools a little bit as we talk about the MiCloud Connect product. And we have tools that are there to help any organization, because we can't just, again, we have to practice what we preach. I've talked about many tools and many ways of flexibility. Well, if we only hand you a hammer, everything you look at better be a nail, and it's not. So you have choices. Along with the client I'm going to show you in just a few minutes, which is our base client with Essentials, you also have a Skype for Business plugin. And that plugin allows you to use Skype for Business's call control if you want to. and not use the Mitel client. We also have a Google Chrome application that just gets loaded and sets in your browser, the Chrome-based browser, if you will. And you can click on that and you can come down. As you can see here, I'm able to do my messages, my calendaring, my contacts, everything I can do over here as well. So I'm giving the users those tools we talked about, right? We're trying to practice what we preach. And we also have a mobility client. And the mobility client allows you to do a couple of different things. In the cloud world, everybody gets the mobility client. Everybody gets a soft client to use on their PC. Everybody gets all of these tools. The nice thing is with the mobility client in and of itself, as if you don't want a phone, and if you're a mobile user like me, that can be your phone client. So when your business number rings, even though it's on your personal cell phone, this application pops up. And I've got all of the same information here I had on the other client there. I can do transfer, conference, I can do point-to-point video, I can do instant messaging, I can do everything with these tools I could do with a full-blown client and a desktop phone. I can also set this up to simultaneously ring, if you will, meaning that when it rings the desk phone, if you have one, it also rings this application. So if you're mobile and you need to leave for a meeting, you can just answer the phone and move on. So it's a very, very powerful client. Again, we're giving users options. We're practicing what we preached about a little bit earlier. And we also have the teamwork application. And this is very unique. And what this application does is it allows you to tie all of your users, especially if they're in disparate areas and you're using cloud and you've got folks in different parts of the country, they can work together as one group. So you might have in our case, we have our sales team for the South Central, and we have a workspace where we share videos about the product. We share marketing information about the project. We share tips and tricks if we're in certain situations where we need to kind of work against the competition or talk about something from a business strategy. We can do that, and we can share that information quickly as a team. We can instant message, we can escalate into an audio conference call, or even escalate into a conference call like we have today, where we're doing sharing of screens and collaboration. So it's a great tool to work together with an organization. And again, this is all in the sauce, if you will. This is all part of the experience when you become one of our MiCloud Connect customers. So if we can, I'll kind of take a breath and maybe a sip of coffee and see if we have any questions. And if not, we will move into a product demonstration. Do a little cleaning up on my desktop. Are we good? Are you seeing any questions coming?
Nope, no questions, Jeff. So I would tell you to go right in. Yep.
Awesome. All right. This is our client. As you see, it sits on the desktop, and it will cascade out back and forth depending on what we're doing. As you see, our live call is up here. That's the call that we have in place. This was an earlier call I had today. I can just clean that up if I want. Here are my different icons. I can make that a little smaller if I choose to, or I can drive that back down to the way it was. And I have different things that I'll step into all those. But what I can do is I can bring in my picture via LinkedIn. I haven't done that, but I can do that if I want to. And I can set up to work off my desktop phone or my soft phone, or do something very unique to Mitel. And that's called external assignment. And what that means is I can assign my Mitel PBX number to any PID. So as an example, a lot of us in this part of the world probably frequent Lake of the Ozarks. I do. We have a family place down there. Well, the cell coverage down there is not very good. And sometimes the internet isn't too good either, but we still have a landline. So what I can do is I can assign myself to that landline at the lake home, and I can work and make phone calls and use the internet just for internet, not try to do voice over it. And then when I click on a phone number, it rings that home phone there at the lake house. I answer it, and then it connects the call out. So I'm controlling everything from my desktop, but I'm doing my talk path through that phone. And if I get a phone call, I get an announcement that says you're receiving a call from the Mitel system. Press 1 to take the call, or if I hang up, it just puts it back on corporate voicemail. So again, we're giving people flexibility and tools to work how they want, when they want, depending on what their circumstances are. And then everybody also gets a personal bridge here, if you will. And this is the 2 easy buttons, which I love, to dial in or to do a screen share. We'll go into just a few little details very quickly for sake of time. But I do have all of these. Again, we talked about personal UC. You can set system parameters to give and take features away depending on your business environment. But you also can give the users the ability to modify those, if you will, or customize those, again, to swing that hammer the way they like to. So if I want to go in here and change my call routing or what my call presence is when I'm available or in a meeting or out of office, I can do that right here. If I go to out of office, it gives me, I can re-record my voicemail. How many rings on an incoming call? Well, I have it at 0 because if I'm out of office, I don't want to inconvenience people. I want it to go right to voicemail. So I can set that up very quickly. Or I can define who 0 is. 0 doesn't have to be the main operator. 0 could be your boss. It could be a colleague. It could be anybody. So when a person hits 0, they're transferred to a specific person who can help them. I also can quickly do some power routes. This is a case where I set a power route when I traveled overseas, that if my wife or kids want to get a hold of me, or even in the case if my wife goes with me and my kids do, they can call me and it'll ring out of office, meaning that if a customer or somebody at LandTech called me, I would be out of office and they get that greeting right away. Whereas my kids would kind of jump the wall, if you will, and they would be able to move over that route and call me. So for me, I can use my cell phone, not put in international minutes on it, and I can still make phone calls and still talk to my kids. So it had some really good business efficiencies for me. If I go into the rest of the tool here, I have the contacts tab. This breaks it into different groups for me. This is great for an operator as well. So that makes things very efficient. I do have the ability, if I get an incoming call, I can drag it and drop it right on another person, and it goes on their name, not physically, but I can drop it on their name and off it goes. For an operator, I can drag it and drop it over, and if I do that, then what happens is I have the ability to do a right click and maybe transfer it to their voicemail, whisper page in the person's ear or something like that, or I can park it on their phone. So I have options. So this also serves as an operator, like a operator console, but it's on their computer screen as opposed to a physical device on their desk. We can provide those button boxes, but this is another way to do it. Within these groups, I can set it as favorites and list it. I like it in this format so I can go into different groups and look at these groups. And if I want to do that, I can go to the South Central team here and just click. And now it's going to show me the presence of the folks, which I saw over here as well. Tom's available, Todd's available. And you probably can't see it, but there's a ring around Todd's name. And what that means is he's not only available over phone, but he's also available through instant messaging. So as an individual, I can get a hold of him, but as a group, I can start a chat with this group, I can schedule a meeting, or I can send them a voicemail. And if I wanted to just go into one of these users here, again, I cascade out. This is my colleague, Jeff Carroll. He's the engineer. And there's the information on Jeff. I can look at messages. I can look at calls. I can look at voicemails from Jeff. That's all right here. So it's all my little personal communication. And for me, with certain users, that's great because Jeff and I work very closely. He's my engineer. We work on projects and customers all day long. So being able to track things is nice. I could even just do a screen share and say, hey, Jeff, can you look at this proposal? Did I configure this right? Because he's the smart Jeff. I'm the sales Jeff. And he could then look at that and instant message me right back and say, yep, you're in good shape. And if I wanted to call him, obviously, I could do that here. But again, I see all the presence of different users here. And if somebody is on the phone or unavailable, I can actually right-click on them and say alert when available, and I'll get a message back that, oh, now I can call. All right. And then if I go into recents, that's the last 1,000 things I've done on my phone, if you will. This is a missed call from Luann. This is a call that I received from her or a call I made out. So the red does mean something. I can look at voicemail as well. The nice thing about voicemail is when I look at this, I can go down and pick the one I want as visual voicemail, which I can also do on a couple of our phone models. But if I want to send this forward, I can do that, and I can play it here. Notice I can play it by my computer speakers or my phone. Again, I've got flexibility in the tool depending on what the user needs. I can forward it, and I can send it to anybody within our organization. There's Jeff, and I could click on him and send it. And then if I did, I could put an appended message on the front of it. I could mark it urgent. So I don't lose any features. I'm just trying to make that very clear. This is what's really great about a cloud application. And then I have the ability to do instant messaging, which I don't have any loaded right now. I haven't done any in the last day or so. With the weekend right behind us, or events. And this syncs in with my calendar, so I can keep track of everything I'm doing from a calendaring perspective as well. And you notice there on my weekly meeting that when I hover over it, I get the easy button. And again, that's nice because I don't have to remember a passcode. I don't have to remember a phone number. I just hit that. I can escalate to this as well and screen share. We also build conduits of that into your native smartphone. So for iOS or Android, when you go into your native client, you'll also have iOS device or other device, which is Android, and you can just click on the number there and it'll dial it, pause, put the passcode in, and off you go. So we create that as a convenience for our users as well. If I want to create a new event, that's fairly easy. Gives me the date, time, hour, location. I'm going to say this is collab. And I'll go in and I could click and use my own static bridge, but I want to assign a specific bridge. I'm an organizer. I can put other organizers on here who can start the call for me if I think I might be a few minutes late. And I can also add presenters, internal or external. And I can also add other participants who need approval. You see I set my meeting for an hour. I could create an agenda. Body of the presentation, we'll do 50 minutes. Close, 10. And you'll notice that it tells me I exceeded by 5 minutes, so it's very intuitive because I set it for an hour and then I exceeded by 5 minutes. Let's go back in here. 5, now it's happy, and it's created an agenda across there. I can add other notes, I can attach files, and I can even do other settings like you must type in a passcode, you must announce your name. And then when I create this, there it is. It opens up with any IXC calendaring device or application, if you will. And I also have the option to do video, and the number of video participants varies depending on the different profile that you have. But here I've created this, and I'll just get a little bit bigger. There's the agenda. So a bar will cascade right across there. And then here's the information, and there's the information on the iOS and other devices. An outside user just clicks on it here, and then they go. And if that pops up, depending on how quickly it does, it's very easy and simple for users. Nothing to add, nothing to put extra or download on their machine. I just introduce myself, click there. I can type in a phone number and hit call me. It calls me back on my phone. Within 2 or 3 clicks, I'm in. And then I have all the capabilities that I need. All right, so we'll go back to the client. Again, I've got a lot of different types of efficiencies I can do here. It's very clean, it's very easy, it's very fast, and I can do everything just with a click of a mouse. And the reason we've designed it that way is for productivity, because you spend more time looking at your computer working on things than you want to be looking at your phone. So when a phone call comes in, I can just click on that phone call and answer it. In my case, it's speakerphone automatically, or if it was a headset, I could do that, but I can make it very, very efficient and very easy for any user. So at this point, I'll kind of stop the demonstration piece, if you will, and see if we have any questions, either from our external customers, which again, I appreciate your time, or from any of our LambTech team or any of our team on today.
I think we're good on this end, Jeff. I'm not seeing any questions from attendees.
All righty, well, thank you again for the opportunity, Courtney and Peter and team. Really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Courtney's got my contact information. Happy to come out and work with you, talk with you all. You've got a tremendous partner there in LambTech who can take care of all your needs. So please let us know what we can do to help you all out.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate you presenting for us today. And we'd like to thank everyone again for attending. If you have any questions, the slide that you're looking at now is information for Doug Sokolowski. He is our account executive here at LambTech, and he would be more than happy to answer any questions that anybody has. If you're a current customer, he would be happy to discuss what Jeff talked to you guys about today works with your current agreement. And I think with that, if there aren't any questions, I think we're ready to say goodbye for the day. I don't see any questions, so thank you guys for attending.